talk about queer memoirs, queer autobiographies. I read a lot of them, like in the mid 90s, shortly after I came out. My first one, I believe, in 1995 was Ellen's, shortly after she came out. My friends and I went out to celebrate my 21st birthday at the Cheesecake Factory in Atlanta, and this was the gift that they gave me, and I still have their note here from December 5th, 95, so just a few days before I turned 21. So this was the first one that I read, Ellen's point of view, with all of, the newsworthy events of her being like the first sitcom star to come out and change her show. Maybe she wasn't the first, but it was such big news back in the mid 90s. And then that got me to read this from, I believe he was an editor or writer for Out magazine, and Openly Bob, he was a comedian at the time. Just very funny, very poignant. And I also read, I couldn't find it, Kate Clinton. I want to say she's some relation to Bill Clinton, but maybe like a cousin or something. But anyway, those kind of helped me with my own coming out process or being comfortable with me. But in the past year and a half, being on Book Talk, I've found some great memoirs that I love. And all of these that I'm going to show you, I have the physical copy, but I've also listened to on audiobook, and all of these are narrated by the actual author, the person who's telling us their story. And I think that makes it more poignant at times. It makes it more heartfelt. I love hearing a story from someone in their own voice, and it's just amazing. So some that I've read in like I said, the past year or so has been Tommorrow Will Be Different by Sarah McBride. This has a lot of Sarah's journey as a transgender person and her involvement with several major transgender equality bills and laws in the Obama era, and she also has a connection to President Joe Biden. She's from Delaware, and she had a lot to do with him and the governor at the time in the 20-teens, I believe. But do check it out; it's very good. And then also this one I talked about as I was listening on I believe a commute. This is Better Living Through Burning by Christian Cooper. He came to prominence. Unfortunately, on the same day that we all learned about George Floyd. He had an incident in New York City in Central Park, as he is an avid bird watcher, and there's these leash laws in the park, and someone wasn't following it, so he did what he was advised to do, and then it led to a threat, or a woman who said, "I'm going to tell them that there's an African-American man threatening my life." That's how the story opens, that those 14 words changed his life. But you do get a lot of insight into that incident and the aftermath of it, of course, with George Floyd and all of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, all of the unfortunate incidents that happened. But you also get Christian's story as being a Black, queer, nerdy man, his infatuation with Marvel Comics, and of course with birding. You get some great insights into birding. I think he gives us 7 birding tips, and it's just a really good listen and autobiography or story memoir. This is very dark, kind of depressing, and it involves domestic violence and a lesbian relationship, and it is, again, Carmen Maria Machado and The Dream House. This is probably my first most recent, what got me back into some queer memoirs. Just very intense, at times disturbing, but it talks about the prominence of domestic violence in a lot of lesbian relationships and how Carmen works through all of this in her life. Do check it out. This is extremely personal, but it's also very poignant, very educational. It's just very good. And then the formatting of this, it's almost like in little snippets and stories, and it's just very intense. I liked it. And then this is kind of funny, and Greg, who narrates this, Greg Marshall, he has never been told that he has a form of cerebral palsy. It's just he's thought of it as a limp. That's how his family has treated it. He's never been officially diagnosed until in his 20s, his 30s. But he talks about his coming out process. He is a great narrator. I've messaged him on Instagram, and I love your voice. Have you narrated other things, because I want to hear them. If you haven't, you should. But this is a great story about how that and other insecurities and coming out and family relationships and everything is very good. His husband also has written a book. I don't think it's autobiographical or memoir, but maybe it's called The Slip, and it's based out of Austin. But also, because I posted when I was reading this, he sent me a postcard from one of the big scenes in the movie. It's him and his dad on a trip to Paris, and I just thought it was cool that he sent me this little postcard about a story from the book. And then the last one that I'll show you, this book cracks me up. Dirtbag Queen by AndyCorren. It's Leslie Jordan's voice a little bit, but it's just really good. When I was listening to this on audio, I sent voice clips to several friends: Crystal, Brian, Kathy, Brooke, Heather. Thank you for letting me share my enjoyment of this. His accent. Yes, I'm from the South too, but this is priceless. It's mostly about his mom, of course, Dirtbag Queen, and she is a Jewish redneck, as he calls her. But Andy's infatuation with one Donny Osmond, when the Donnie Marie show was on in the 70s, just the way he says certain things, the way he tells these stories. The word right now that's sticking out is joie de vivre. The way he says it, it is hilarious. It does get sad because, I mean, it's about his mother who will eventually pass away. But, oh my God, this is so funny. This is so hilarious. You have to check it out. Check out all of these. So, Dirtbag Queen, AndyCorren, Leg by Greg Marshall, In the Dream House by Carmen Machado, Better Living Through Birding by Christian Cooper, and Tomorrow Will Be Different by Sarah McBride. Do check out any one of these autobiographies, as well as the 3 or 4 that I showed at the beginning: Ellen, Michael, and Bob's. All right. Have a good day. Bye.